speaking of contributing, man, here we go. StreamYard wants to start StreamYarding. But while I'm getting this straight, man, we got Graybeard in the place to be. You're very dark. We can't see you, bro.
Man,
gotta turn on that. Can't see.
Hold on.
All right, we'll bring you back. But we got somebody that's got some light up in this thing. We got Chris A1 Tipmore visiting us today.
What's up, A1? How y'all feeling?
Hey, man, we good, bro. Hey, we're talking about the third string running back that we just brought in. Yeah. And here's my question. Well, I'm not even going to call him a third string. He just got brought in. We have to make sure he makes the team first. Now, we were saying, and Christy kind of doubled down on what I was saying, with this third string spot that we have to have, because you don't know what's going to happen with your first two backs. What type of back do you think that we really need to bring into this system? Because in my opinion, maybe he can prove me wrong, bringing in the leading rusher for the UFL that literally only had 541 yards, I think that might not be the best move, because he didn't make it in New York, didn't make it in Carolina, was up and down, solid player, you know what I'm saying, but not a guy that I feel like can impact our offense. What do you think he would bring to the table if they decide to bring him here over the Michigan State kid?
Oh, man, that's tough, guys, because, I mean, yeah, he led, like you say, he led UFL, and that's cool. They lead in the UFL and everything, but it kind of feel like they're kind of just like fishing in a way, just kind of like fishing, just to try to get like a camp body right now who possibly could turn into more than that with this kid. Honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to I don't put a lot of real estate into it. I don't put a lot of anything into it. I just feel like it's just a move to be made. For all we know, he still may not even make the 53. So, and like you said, Ryan, this guy has bounced around a little bit. So it's like, can he come in and make the Falcons roster? I honestly don't know. And I'm not, if I had to bet money on it right now, I would say no. I wouldn't say he would make the 53. Now, I know we got to have bodies and stuff like that. But there's a lot of kids that, if in certain positions, if they're just excelling, I'm not going to necessarily say, let's say, for example, I'm not going to necessarily cut Quincy Skinner, who's having a great camp, just because I signed a third, running back, for example. It's like, I'm going to make sure that the talent, regardless, always outweighs the position. And, you know what I'm saying? And my thing is, I know you got to have backs for Bijan and Tyler and everything like that, but you can possibly still go out somewhere and still get another back or whatever if need be. I just don't think that he makes the 53. Again, if he can prove, I guess, us wrong, me and Ryan, maybe, then so be it, but I don't think he makes it.
What's up, Graybeard? You got some light now. Now you can put a little light on the situation.
Oh, man, StreamYard been getting on my nerve all day. But
yeah, I'm with that. Keep him on the practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, with this move, man, I was kind of like confused. I mean, I thought we had a plenty of running back to begin with, and then we drafted McClellan, which pretty much was like why we did it. I mean, we could have drafted something else that probably could have benefited the team, even though he was covered round pick. I get it, but still,
right?
To me, getting a running back and cut him within a year, it just make no sense to me. But with this kid, I mean, because I watched the UFL, I mean, the kid, I mean, he's pretty solid, but like to you A1 and you historian, you got to make the team first. So I don't know what we're going to get out of this kid, because UFL is one level. NFL is still the premium level, even though he was in the NFL. So, I mean, let's see what happens. I mean, like I said, you can never have too much depth. I mean, but he still had to compete for that third spot. That third spot is pretty much going to be one of the key battles, too, as well, going into the camp. Tyler Algier and Bijan, they 1 and 2. They ain't got nothing to worry about. Three and possibly 4 is gonna be like who wanted more, in my opinion.
I gotta put this out here for Terry Fino. Hey Terry, you decide to go get talent everywhere else. I need you to go ahead and go get Jada Byers, sir. That's 2,000-yard rusher, like I just told you. Man was the best player in the HBCU ranks. Steve Weiss even commented on that guy being impactful. Please, if you want to start bringing in guys that you're not spending money on right off the bat, start giving these black college kids a chance, man. Let's be real on this. It's a lot of them diamonds out here, and he's one of them. And if you ever go back, and we showed the footage of here, he's got breakaway speed, but his vision and his patience is something that you can't teach. And being able to shift in between these tackles, he's very explosive for a guy that's around 5'11", 200 pounds. And he's a Jersey kid, Jersey tough, Tuff, not Tough, Tuff. So shout out to one of Jersey's own, Virginia Union, stand up. So I mean, and the reason I'm putting that out there is I look at it like this, man. When you look at the type of production or whatnot that comes out, as you said before, Emmitt Smith was never the fastest guy on the field. But if you notice, how many times did you see him get caught from behind?
A lot.
But be honest though. How many times did he break away from people because of balance and strength?
Yeah, he had great vision. His vision was top notch. Right.
Think about it. And Jada Byers plays exactly like Emmitt Smith. The difference is he's got a little bit more of a gear and game speed. But I get where a lot of folks are coming from. The 40 time is one thing, but let's be real. There's a difference between a 40 time and game speed. Game speed is all that matters. Jerry Rice didn't run the fastest 40. Just saying.
But his game speed was world.
Yeah.
The league has gotten a lot faster since
there was one of the best conditioned athletes that you'd ever meet. So that's just I don't know, man. It's just something about them boys that come from around their way and them Jersey cats that come through, man. I got a respect for that. But let's get to it, man. Speaking of support, we got Kirk Cousins finally supporting Michael Penix Jr. Comes out and finally says it, shows up to camp. And we all know this isn't really a goodwill. How can I put it? We all know this is not a goodwill ambassador move. But I'm going to let y'all, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be nice today. See, we're going to let the Penix conductor in here, the man who is Michael Penix's biggest fan outside of his mama, his mammy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let K-Dub do this one here. So, K, so how do you feel about this one?
I mean, I looked at the interview, but you gotta applaud him. I mean, he's doing the right thing by his PR team, saying, look, you got to get behind this guy because for the first few months, it looked like he had a sour taste in his mouth and he wasn't saying the right things. And that wasn't, and he basically figured out, him and his agent and his PR team figured out that that's not going to get him out the door, get him out of here, and it's not looking favorable about other organizations around the league. So he's saying the right things. I mean, it's a good thing. Penix is saying the right things, that he's helping them. So it's a win-win for the organization. We want a happy quarterback room, so we don't have any adversity or animosity going on throughout the season. I feel like it's a win-win for Kirk Cousins, because if he plays well in the backup role, if he has to come in for a small stint, that he making politic himself into another organization. But I mean, I'm for it. If he's for it, it sounds genuine, but we'll see what happens. But I think they had a discussion with his PR team and like I said, the medical team for the Falcons, trying to get himself back up to 100%, because he's saying that now he's thinking that he wasn't at 100%. He was only at 30-40%, but he thought he was at 80-90%. So I'm like, Kirk Cousins, I don't know what you got going on, but at least he's on the right track now. At least he's on sounding and saying the right things. I mean, we'll see how that plays out moving forward. But other than that, that's what I take from him.
I mean, what I got for that, I don't know. What I got for that interview was like definitely PR telling him to say some things. Yeah. When he said that, I believe I was 30-40%, but I felt like I'm 89. I'm like, come on, bro. You know your body better than anybody. So if you was at 30 and 40%, you was at 30 and 40%. You wasn't at no close to 80 or 90. You wasn't even at 50. So this was definitely a PR move by his PR team. So they want to get the perception that there would not be no tension going into camp, even though I still think they're still gonna have some type of competition. Competition still gonna be there. So They're just trying to say, hey, I got it back. I support the Falcon. I support Radio Raheem and the front office on making this move. So yeah, dog and pony show.
Why you calling Radio Raheem, man? Hold up. Hey.
He got
Dog
a lot
and
of
pony
making
show.
that to do.
Dog and pony show, man. Dog and pony show. That's all I'm saying. Dog and
So
pony.
you might so you must have been watching
man.
Do the Right Thing before you showed up in here talking about Radio Raheem.
I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all.
Here we
I'm
go.
Black and the black.
You know what?
Black, y'all.
I might as well call K Dub and Mel. That's Coconut Sid at the bottom, and they call me Sweet D Willie. Rest in peace, Robin Harris. I wish you know what? I ain't even gonna quote Robin Harris tonight because you know if I get into it, it's gonna be on some stuff. If I start
No, don't do
if I
it.
start quoting Do the Right Thing tonight.
Don't do it.
Let it. Hell yeah, baby.
Hey, she better not let me see on payday. Hey, man, so A1, so question for you, man. So with this move that we're talking about, now we all spoke on how he's supporting. Now, do you believe it might have been a higher power from the front office that possibly said no, he's gonna still play, he's gonna be our guy, we ain't throwing Penix out there yet? Or do you believe it was Kirk doing that and still not supporting the young pup?
Are you talking about just recently now? Or are you talking about last week?
And now you're seeing that he's supporting him now. Do you believe it might have been last year the higher power that wanted to keep him out there, and it might have been above Raheem's pay grade?
To be honest, I think it was a collective. I still think it was a collective thing. I still believe that more people knew about it than what they'll admit, and we'll never find out. You know what I'm saying? That's water under the bridge now. But honestly, I'm not surprised at all by anything that's going on. Now, unpopular opinion, I do believe Kirk Cousins was always going to come to training camp and support Michael Penix because Kirk Cousins is not necessarily a bad guy. He's just, not necessarily wanted in Atlanta, and he's not going to start. He knew that his days were numbered. Honestly, after the ink dried and everything's all smiles and loving and all that stuff like that. But he knew that the time was ticking for him as soon as they said the Falcons select Michael Penix Jr. So my thing is like, I gotta do whatever I possibly can to keep my job. I gotta do whatever I possibly can. Just like it said, what was it? Love and basketball. Never let a rookie take your spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, like, that's really what it was. And Kurt was going to go all the way down to the bitter end with it. And then it got to the point where he's like, okay, I tell you, I said it then. I almost said this name about 3-4 times now. The moment that Kirk Cousins really was like, I'm not getting my job back, like, and I got to figure something out, when he was on that sideline with his helmet on in that Washington game. And he was just over, you just see him just over there, all folded and everything. He just knew it then. And it was so surreal for him because he was back in a spot that he's been in before, a backup on the Washington sideline. So everything was just so surreal to him, and life come at you fast. It was coming full circle. So now I got to try to see if I can get up out of here. Now we got to get morning football and everything, et cetera, et cetera. Things just didn't work out for him. So guess what? It's like you try your best, but now the ultimate thing that we most likely knew was going to happen, with you being a backup to Michael Penix, nobody wants you to start. You gotta take it on the chin. So I agree with y'all when it says about PR. It could be because he might have needed some help with some PR on that. But at the same time, I do believe that Kurt is a genuine good guy, and I do believe he actually does like Mike. It's not personal. It's business. Like the business side of me still wants to start, still wants to show that I can play, still wants to, never know, make another contract. That's the business side of it. I don't think it's personal at all. So
I agree with
I agree with you, Chris, on that.
I'm with you on that.
I think, but the PR team was basically convincing him, just like you convinced us just now, that that's the way he needs to come off. But he was coming off a little, like he was a little, in his feelings, and he was. But he's doing a better job of portraying that I'm on board, and willing to help in any way possible for the guy to be successful. And I think that's the best way for him to get a trade and get out of here, because other franchises, like, you put things on tape, they're looking at that, the interviews, so you're putting that on tape, on interview tape. So all that plays a part, and he is getting paid very handsomely, very lovely. So it shouldn't be that hard.
You ain't 45 million worth.
I gotta take a quick second to say happy heavenly birthday for my wrestling fans out here, my football fans. Chief Wahoo McDaniel played in the NFL for a bit. Definitely was a hell of a wrestler. AFL linebacker, played for the Dolphins, the Patriots, did the damn thing. But most of us remember him when he was a wrestler. A lot of people don't remember when he was a linebacker kicking ass in the league. So rest in peace to Mr. Wahoo McDaniel and happy heavenly birthday. Gotta always shout out the legends, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Gotta shout out the legends. Yes, sir. So next, speaking of legends, we did shout out Juneteenth, by the way, at the beginning of the show. So I see y'all coming in with
Juneteenth.
Definitely
Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth,
for sure.
in observation of a national holiday. Let's talk about it. Speaking of a national holiday, it seems like nationally the holiday of Kobe Bryant is starting to come around Atlanta now, where his name has definitely continued to garner praise. It's a guy I've been high on since he was at Kansas, before he was even taken by Atlanta. And I said if we got him, he was going to be a serious problem for a lot of people. And now, as I said earlier, that number 2 spot is not locked up by Hughes, by the way. He's got the contract, but it ain't guaranteed that he don't lose to this dude. Say what you want, but if you got Jerry Gray already talking about you and Ulrich talking about you, and now you got Raheem talking about you, that job is up for grabs.
Oh yeah,
that job is up for grabs.
But we knew this though, brother. We knew this, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't mean to interject like that, but it's just Kobe Bryant. Like, for me, like when I'm doing scouting and stuff like that, I like to pay my homage to a guy that I like. Is normally I'll make some kind of video off of him, like something, you know what I'm saying, so people can know who he is and everything like that. And this kid was definitely one of the guys that I made a video for. Now, he didn't have the fastest 40 time. I didn't care about that 4.5. I seen football speed when I looked at that tape. I seen tenacity. I seen somebody who's a ball hawk, good ball skills, can locate the ball, can turn his head. He does everything right. Fluid hips, like he had everything that I want in a corner. And he has attitude more than anything. And as a corner, and Ryan, you can attest to this. You can definitely vouch for this. You got to have some kind of attitude to be in that defensive backfield.
Oh yeah,
you got to. You can't be no Tony boy.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing about
makeup, man.
You have to have a few things. A short-term memory, because guess what? You're going to get embarrassed at that corner spot.
That's number one.
That's the one thing. You got to look. You're going to have everybody talking about you, calling you everything but the child of God. And it don't matter what level you're on, you're going to get blamed for a lot of that stuff. You have to be able to tune that out. You got to get back, because here's the thing. You got a chance to get right back at him on the next play. You got a chance. Right. That's where that short-term memory comes in at. Can you stay consistent? Can you get up in this dude's chest after he made you look bad a play ago? Do you have a mean streak? This is something else that people don't understand about corners. You got to have a mean streak to be a corner or a safety, a defensive back, period. Because you're getting tried. It's pretty much like somebody going to, how can I put it? When you're in a fist fight with somebody or you getting ready to fight somebody, it's either going to be something that's going to be said to trigger you or some action that's going to be there that's going to trigger you. Let's be real. Being a cornerback or a safety and you get beat on the pass, that's like somebody slapping you and your mama and you not doing nothing about it. That's the best way to describe it.
Murder with the case that they gave you.
It's a very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful. And you have to come back and show a little attitude. Kobe has been one of them guys. Been like that since he came out of high school in Alabama. I'm glad that the University of Alabama didn't get it. To hell with y'all Crimson Tide folks, by the way. I stand on that. I've been able to do Crimson Tide folks. I've been able to do Crimson Tide folks on
already started.
So I'm starting this already because they already talking all this smack about coming in Georgia and doing something. So I'm gonna say this here. Look, I'm all about a guy having a job, but apparently one of your running backs got cut by Atlanta. I'm being petty right now. So I'm letting you know you got a Bama player that's not on our roster no more. Just saying. Wasn't that good to me. But again,
this seems like we just not having
I'm gonna say
a
that
good
for the
time with Bama players.
But let's get back to it though. Now Julio and Calvin Ridley are two of the best that we had from Alabama to come to Atlanta. That ain't no lie.
Right.
But let's be real on this though.
Late.
Kobe is a guy that everybody overlooked.
Yeah.
This man was first team All-American his whole time at Kansas. You don't get that just for stepping on the field. You talking about Kansas, a basketball school at that.
Lawrenceville.
Yes, think about it.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is this. Now, William D's not gonna get cut. He's a special teams ace. They're not gonna cut him because he brings value.
No.
As a starter, he's not playing, but he ain't getting cut. See, that's why we call him Axe Handle Williams. He always trying to cut somebody.
He ain't going nowhere.
Double Axe Handle.
Damn. Hey, man,
we already know it's finishing move.
Hey, listen, this man
Double Axe Handle for the
we done evolved
Everybody
this man from Mr. FMLA, from calling in on the hospital bed, the damn Pink Slip Willie. That's what we call him. That's Pink Slip Willie right there.
Pink slip, boy.
Pink Slip Willie.
Anytime, any place, that pink slip will be in
place.
So he
better play right, get that pink slip.
But I'm just saying though, when we really look at this defensive backfield, you got a young guy that's already challenging Hughes for that second spot.
What?
Oh yeah.
Do you? Let's be real. Even if he doesn't come out of the gate starting, do you guys believe that he's actually gonna have a chance to win that starting job at some point this year?
I believe.
Yes, I do.
I believe toward the middle of the season. Toward the middle of the season, I can't see him in the starting lineup. Because like I said, man, the dude is talented. The dude is just too talented, and he got overlooked over 40 times. And maybe he's size because he's undersized as a DB. You probably want him to get a little bit more weight, but you can't coach talent. I mean, you can't coach intangible that he got. The ball hawking, the instinct, that dog, man. Dog, we got blessed, and we better not give up on blessing. So for the coaching staff, he may not know it, but yeah, he on the team, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, shout out to our boy Will though. We just clown or whatever because we got love for him because he's definitely one of those passionate Falcon fans. Like, we are.
Just want to see the team win like the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
But Will damn sure be ready to fire everybody. You have one. Listen, if you have one bad game, or you at least have two, hey man, just stay away from Will because Will gonna hand you a pink slip. That's my dog.
Out of there. He out of there.
Hey, Will was trying to hand pink slips out in the hospital bed when he called us.
Out of there. Get him out the paint.
That's our boy though. He getting him out the paint though. Shout out to William Amon, man. One of the top Falcon fans in the base or whatnot. We definitely love this cat. But speaking of love, let's talk about it, man. PFF projects the Falcon offense at 16 for 2025. It sucks to hear it. We already know what we have on this team, but how can you sit there and argue? How can you sit there and argue against it when we literally gave up the draws?
I would think more of top 15, but
I would say 15, but I'd say 16. Damn.
It ain't bad considering where we came. I mean, we got to see what we get with Pennick. I think they totaling that he only played 4 games. So we got to see they're going to get maybe 6-7 games and see how he looks. And then maybe our draft can go, our PR can go up or down, whatever the case. Because we got the weapon. Bijan, Tank. Gak. I think we get more comfortable being like, okay, now I can open up the playbook a little bit more now that I have my guy that I want under center. So I mean, it's just a bunch of intangibles. But that's just I'm not gonna put no.
I think that's a solid. I believe that's a solid projection. Like just like what Graybeard was saying, I think we can improve upon that projection. Start at 16 and move it. I see us being like a top 12 offense. I mean, when it's all said and done, that's just my opinion. But we have to play ourselves until that we don't get the respect. You're not coming in here with no respect. We don't care if you got MP9 Drake London. Y'all got to do something. So we got to show and prove, and we got to make the league put the league on notice, man. That's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to put the league on notice before Buffalo got it turned around with Josh Allen and company. I mean, they were not winning like that. So I mean, you have to put the league on notice, man. You have to go get that quarterback and turn the thing around, man, and let people know that, hey, man, we here to be reckoned with. Before they had quarterbacks in Kansas City before Mahomes got there. They kept falling on their face with some of the previous quarterbacks they had. But when Mahomes got there, it's respectability now. So every time you play us, get your popcorn.
But the one thing that we got to say that they had in Kansas City with Alex Smith, they were already going to the playoffs and going to the AFC Championship game. They just didn't get over the hump. People forget. Coaching. And they had coaching. People forget that Mahomes was just one of those dudes. Hey, man, shout out to Big Bama Brand in here. He talking smack already. As I told you, this is what we got to deal. This is what we got to deal with in the offseason or whatever. But shout out to Big Bama. Appreciate you showing the love, big dog, man.
They coming after this year.
Hey, he also is a brother. He also is a brother at arms too, military partner, whatever. So salute to my guy.
Okay. Shout out to the vets.
Yeah. We talk trash, but it's all love or whatnot when it come down to it. But getting to the offseason projection for this offense, I'm gonna be 100 with you on this. I really believe that this offense is really going to be a lot better because now you have Penix that's been in this system where he's learned the system and got to play in the last 3 games of the system. And now he's going to be the man from start to finish. For him to get over 700 yards, pretty much literally put up 6 tutties the way that he did, should have had 7 tutties, but we ain't going to get into that.
No, we're not.
How he was called on in a tight primetime game against Washington, and he delivered with this offense. You have to really think about what this offense is going to be able to do now that he's going to have time to work. He's going to have time to, all right, I messed up. I got time to fix this right here instead of just being thrown into the hot seat in the last 3 games and trying to put everything on his shoulders right off the bat. And he's got a running game that's going to balance everything out. Yeah. And the one thing that we hope that we get to see a lot more of, tight end involvement this year. Tight end involvement this year. Because look, because here's my thing. I told you who my money is on.
Oh yeah, we already know.
My money on Josh Simon. Say what you want. He gonna be one of the ones that's gonna make the team and that's gonna push everybody. That's who my money's on. Here's my thing. Kyle Pitts got to ball out this year. No excuses.
Yeah,
no excuses.
If he want to get paid, he got to ball
this year. He got to
go. If he wants to get paid, he got to ball out.
But here's my thing. If we're gonna pay this guy, are we just gonna pay him to be a red zone threat, which we just need, or just pay him to catch routes down the seam? Not saying that he can't play, but let's be honest. Josh Simon also brings another dimension to this offense, like a Jonnu Smith, where he can catch it in the round, the speed, he can block, he can do things. You can't prepare for that guy because you're not going to know what he's going to do because he does everything.
I mean, we're going to pay him to be a football player, but we want one of his strong points to be in the red zone. Something that we have not done.
I need Pitts to be used in the red zone. You got all that height and size for what reason?
That was one of the reasons why they had Arthur Smith drafted him, because he could have been a good red zone threat. The problem is we never use him in the red zone.
Hey, look, we got some other folks that feel the same way.
I mean, I don't care if we're winning. I don't care. I don't care.
Hey, but you know what though? But here's the thing, Larry. He's 2 years removed from that knee injury, sir. Takes a whole year to get back. He had last year. So that ain't no excuse. He didn't just have a knee injury. This is actually another year removed from that. He got the knee injury in his second year. He's been with the Falcons before. You ain't getting the pass with that one, bro.
I mean, for me, if he want to get paid, Dick gotta be his best year of his life.
But here's the thing. Now everybody keeps saying, well, he needs to work on his blocking. Here's the thing. When you get to the NFL, all this stuff should already be ingrained in you pretty much from your college days. KW, you're a little frozen, bro. All we see is you smiling.
Can you see me now?
We see you moving a little bit, but let's just be real. The blocking aspect of that game is something that it take a heartbeat to do that. You gotta want to block. You gotta want to engage in contact with guys. That's something that you're either born with it or you're not. You can be taught how to do it, but if it's not in here, it's not going to show up on the field. If you don't work at it, it's not going to be there.
That's one of them things you have to work on.
It's just what we're calling a spade a spade. Hell, you got running backs that don't like the pass block.
True.
Right.
And here's the thing: you're supposed to protect your quarterback
at all times.
At all times.
And here's the thing: Bijan Robinson became one of the best blocking backs in the league in his second year. His first year, he struggled with it because he was still learning the system. But last year, Bijan earned a lot of respect when he hit that D lineman that was coming in getting ready to earhole Kirk.
You ain't lying.
Yes, sir.
He did.
So, hey, look, I call a spade a spade. So we got guys that are willing to engage in it. Hell, Darnell Mooney engage into a block.
Yeah.
Yes, he will. I mean, and that's what, like you just said, you got to have that willingness to block. You got to have that willingness to lay it out on the line. We know that's one thing you just got to have, man. Just talking about this offense, like we're at 16, but we won't stay at 16. I would definitely believe, top 12 or beyond is definitely better for this offense. And one thing we got to think about is like the Falcons, they feel comfortable with what they have. And just a little disrespect out there, but at the same time, you got to feel like it's warranted because, all right, they're calling our offensive line, of course, with Drew Dalman gone, they're saying it's a weak spot at the center position. But what people got to remember is when Ryan Nuzil was in there, Kirk Cousins had some of his best games.
Facts.
Just saying on that, Darnell Mooney. There was plenty of times this season where people didn't know if Darnell Mooney was the number 1 or the number 2.
For real.
He just got hurt toward the end of the season, and that unfortunately stopped him from getting his 1,000-yard season. That would have been the first time we did that since Calvin and Julio, I believe.
Yep.
So that could have been 2,000-yard wide receivers. We were 8 yards away from that. And also, you just think about, okay, Kyle Pitts, yeah. Kirk Cousins had no kind of connection. No. There was a disconnect.
In training camp, they did. All the videos that we saw, and when we went to training camp, you saw.
But we know that's a controlled environment. That's a controlled environment. So, it's at the same time, that can always be fool's gold. We can draw up all the plays we want to for you and make it look good then. But when you get out there on the field against people who got cruel intentions for you, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Fact.
And, hey, Chris, how can you trust the guy? Let's be real. You're a quarterback. You're pretty much in charge of this offense. I hear what you said, but I'm gonna let you finish cooking. But I want your opinion on this. How do you protect a guy that quits on routes? How do you trust a guy that half-asses on blocks when you need him? I'm just saying.
And I'm glad that you brought that part because just like there was a disconnect, with the tight end and the quarterback, there was reason for it because of what you just said. There's plenty of fault on both ends, and everybody just needs to be accountable. But the person that needs to be accountable the most is Kyle, because I've even said it before. Just because you're not getting the ball doesn't mean you don't continue out with the play. You continue to run the route. You continue to do everything that you're supposed to do so the play can develop the way it's supposed to. When people see your effort playing every play, eventually the ball is going to come your way. Sometimes the ball isn't always going to come your way. Sometimes you have to be that decoy. We've seen Julio be the decoy. We've seen Ryder be a decoy. All those we've heard those guys talk about being the decoy. We know all the coverage coming this way, so it's gonna come your way. You're gonna get your gains. Remember National Tight End Day? It was all about Kyle Pitts that day.
Yep.
I understand it was tight end day, but it was all about Kyle Pitts regardless, and he almost messed that up. But so it's just like, so my thing is, it's like I'm not being too hard on Kyle Pitts. I'm just labeling out the facts. I do have facts of you quitting on routes. I do have facts of you going half speed. I do have facts of you making bumbling plays, accidental plays, stuff like that. But we also do have facts that sometimes they just weren't even looking at this man. Sometimes they just, he would be wide open and the progression just wouldn't get there, or they would overlook him, anything like that, just to disconnect of him being there. But what we're hoping for is Michael Penix has that eagle eye. We'll be able to find him. We'll be able to trust in him. Even if he is running half speed and stuff like that, he's still going to try to find him. Basically, we're just looking for that connection. And I believe that Michael Penix is the guy to take us from 16 to top 10. Like, seriously, people go sleeping on New Zealand, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people in the fan base are sleeping on them, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, because you still want to see more from them. I'm just saying, just think about it. Some of Kirk Cousins' best games were with New Zealand. Some of Michael Penix has, had all the snaps with New Zealand because he was on the second string. So my thing is,
that's a connection right now.
Both Nuzul and Michael MP9 are both left-handed, so that's right.
That's another connection. Then on top of that, you got to think about this too. Them folks was calling him their starting center, and that man didn't even have a contract.
Yep. And if you look at him physically, let's be honest. If you look at him physically, he's got weight on him. But if you look at how his playing style is, you gotta compare him to the legendary Jeff Van Note. Not saying he plays like Van Note, but if you look at him, you look at his playing style, it's nothing beautiful about it. It's just like Van Note's was. He gonna get the ball in there and he's gonna beat the hell out of you. That's pretty much his game. Dahlman is one of the best in the game that we lost, but I would say Dahlman reminded me more of our legendary center that played with a broken leg in the Super Bowl. Alex Mack. Dahlman reminded me of Mack, but when I look at Ryan Neisel, he reminds me of Jeff Van Note. The only difference is he's actually got his front teeth. Remember, Jeff Van Note didn't have his. He got him. He got him. But remember, Van Note got him knocked out or whatnot and got a plate put in later. But you got to remember, hey man, Neisel is an old school back type of center, and I like those type of guys because guess what? He's got a mean streak. Think about this. Then you also are not talking about Storm Norton on this offensive line as well. Norton has earned his way with this team. Exactly. Even going back to the days with Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, Heineke, and Woodside, the Storm Norton literally gave those guys a clean pocket when your boy McGarry was getting whooped like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh Lord.
It's just now McGarry had a good year this year. Can't take that away from him. The stats don't lie, the numbers don't lie. But you honestly saw the different impact of that game when he was out and you saw Storm Norton in there. Think about it. How many times did you see pressure coming from that right side?
Not as much.
I mean, you really didn't.
Exactly.
I mean, I will give Caleb his credit though. You did not hear his name down that stretch when Michael Penix.
No, he was good. He was good because he heard the noise of Storm Norton behind him, and now this is what makes it even better. You got Jack Nelson here. Got Jack Nelson here. So guess what? You have no choice but to be flawless now.
You got a ball every game.
Flawless.
Every snap.
Flawless.
Every snap.
Bergeron has found a home as a guard, but I'm gonna be real with you. I bet money that they're gonna kick him out to that tackle spot when Jake Matthews retires. How much you want to bet? And he goes back to his natural spot of tackle, and they're gonna get a guard that's gonna go in.
I would.
No, I think that's exactly what I think is going to eventually happen. I do. I don't want it to happen right now, because he's doing great at guard. But I feel like when it's time to change over, it's going to be like, all right, Well, so let's go ahead and start trying to work at that left tackle. And I think Bergeron would be great going back to left tackle. So it's going to eventually happen.
I just feel like Bergeron is he's like you said, he's a natural tackle when coming out of college. But I feel like this year he'll make a Pro Bowl or something at guard, and he's gonna stay at guard. He's gonna be a guard. Sometimes you just get your position changes when you get to the NFL.
And the thing is, Bergeron played every position on the offensive line when he was at Syracuse. So that's something else you have to take into account. Jack Nelson, he's played every position on the offensive line coming out of Wisconsin. So if you're noticing what Atlanta is starting to do, exactly
versatile.
I've already said this. Anything that come out of Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Nebraska, and Oklahoma, I will never question.
No.
Look, I know I'm an SEC guy. We all talk about this, but here's my thing. Them 4 schools, they might not be good, but guess what? Them O lines that they put out, them D lines, you're going to get something.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get something. And you're talking about longevity as well and a proven track record pretty much of talent that consistently comes out. So, last topic for the night before we get to it. Let's be on it. Jeff Ulbrich, his playing days has influenced his coaching style. I'm gonna let Greatbeard start this one.
I like it. I mean, you're gonna coach, you're gonna play as your coach, and then vice versa. So for me, he wants that. If we go back and go look at the film of Jeff Ulbrich playing days, what type of player he was, that's what type of scheme he wants to run in Atlanta. And I think now he's looking at with the talent that have been brought in, especially with the 2 edge rushers that we just got, who he just pretty much been doing backflips ever since the draft. I think now you're gonna see what type of player he was for all the people that didn't see Jeff Ulbrich play. You're gonna see now how he is as a defensive coordinator, and I think he's gonna mirror it. I'm looking forward to it. I love it. That mean streak that he had, that attitude, how he just loved to hit people and all that. I mean, you're gonna see it all with how he calls the defense. It's just up to the players now to execute his style of play.
Well, just piggyback off what Graybeard is saying. Like I say, I just want to see the veracity. I mean, what he coaches with. Like I say, like you're a reflection of your head coach or your offensive defensive coordinator, and you take on his mode. And everything I've been hearing coming out of camp, man, these guys are raving about how he coaches it, how he teaches it. He has a passion for teaching, yelling and screaming, and he got the energy and that vigor that you need to play to coach at that position. And so I'm trying to figure out the last time we had a line was Dan Quinn. What position did he play in?
He was a linebacker.
Did he even play?
Yeah, Dan Quinn played university.
So basically that same mode, the defense basically stepped up, and we went to a Super Bowl when we had that type of coach. So, I mean, I'm excited, super excited. Stay healthy. I'm keep on pushing that. Stay healthy, and I'm ready to see a linebacker get in there because they're going to coach it a different way. They're going to coach it. They're more cerebral. They're very intelligent at the linebacker position because they have to know what everybody else is doing. So it's going to be different having him call it, and I'm just excited to see it, and I'm ready for it. Other than that, that's all I have on that particular question or topic.
Hey, Warren, what you got?
Yeah, man, and you got to think about it. Jeff is extra motivated because of the outside noise that happened, around the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. He was on that Super Bowl team when we went when the 28-3 happened. Same with Raheem and everything. So you got to think about it. These guys do want to get after it, but it's extra motivation because it's almost like, man, we were right there, and we would just miss it. We're missing something. So now we just got to get it back. Extra motivation. I do believe, of course, like you said, his playing days being able to influence it, and the players have testified to that. They're saying, yeah, sometimes he kind of goes a little extra hard and everything like that. They understand, and everything, but still, it's just like that's what you want, though. You want that type of influence because you want that aggressive style. that no nonsense, that hey, let's go out there and be the bullies. I know that's something that I've been wanting to do. I want to get back to the fact to where like people have to really like look over their shoulders. Like here come the Falcons, like they're doing like bad boy style, like almost like that 1991 too legit to quit, or even worse, like the grits blitz. Like I want to be feared, and I want coaches that want that same thing and want players to want to execute like that too. So I'm liking so far what I'm seeing. I want to see more of it. Definitely got to get to training camp to check it out. You know, I'm saying firsthand, see exactly what the energy is, feel that aura, because that's what you're really like looking for. And I just want it to be infectious, and because we got to get this right down here in Atlanta. And I believe, you know, with that, with everybody being on the same court, and then underrated Nate Ollie, who's just as an aggressive guy, just like Jeff Ulbrich, you know what I'm saying, running with them, they're running with the defensive line, having these guys have that mean streak, having these guys go out there and, you know what I'm saying, be the bullies. That's what we want to do. We want to be mean. We don't want to be nice. We don't want to be cute. We don't want to be cream puff. We want to be these bruisers. We want to be the mean guys. We got to have the mean streak. It's time to take it back, man. And I believe so far that we may have the right recipe finally stirring it up in the pot. We might not add that right seasoning. And so far, it's guys are attesting to it. And I really believe, just like, and I will say this, just like I seen Tyler Algier this past weekend, ask him a few questions, you know, just surrounding around the team. The energy is different from last year. The energy is different. Like, it's more belief and everything. These guys are ready for Falcon football, and I'm hoping that it will translate to the field. So I'm loving what I'm hearing so far. We just got to keep it going and let it translate to the field, especially Cup September.
So what I'm gonna say is, when we talk about these linebackers, here's my thing: you can't beat experience. But number one, you got a guy that played in this game. You got a guy who not only played this game, he played in the league from 2000 to 2009, pretty much 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the fact that he was a third-round pick that worked his way in there and worked his way through the ranks, starting as a special teams coordinator, assistant special teams coordinator. So he also understands that part of the game. He's also been a defensive line. He's also been helping out with D-line and linebackers as well. So when you look at this guy, I want you to look at the type of coaches he played for. Think about this, man. He played for Steve Mariucci at the end of his career, Dennis Erickson for 2 years, Mike Nolan for 3 years, and then he played for Singletary. He played for Singletary close to the end of his career. So if you think about that, the best coach that he really played for defensively, and he said he learned the most from, was Mike Singletary, a guy that played his position, a guy that taught him a lot within that short period of time. So when you look at what he's bringing to the table, it's not just aggressiveness. It's not just a whole bunch of rah-rah. This man understands. He understands how to shed a block. He understands how to run through a 300-pound lineman to set up a play. He understands how to force things back into traffic. Little intricacies. He tells you little tips where these linebackers are going to be playing at a higher level. You look at, I'll give you this here. One of his linebackers that just retired, that he coached, C.J. Mosley, that just retired.
Uh-huh.
He's responsible for some of his success. If you want to be honest, going back to his days with the Jets, he helped coach top defense. So when you look at some of the guys that we had, you look at that 2016 linebacker core that we had. We literally had some stuff that came from this guy. And for me, I see Ulbrich being a guy that's going to bring a kick-ass mentality. You know, we all understand that he's got to earn our trust after the stuff that happened this year. Let's just keep it a buck. But I'm not taking anything away from what this man is going to bring to this defense. You can't.
Fact.
Right. And then you got Jerry Gray, a defensive mastermind as well, on this defense with this guy. They literally work together. They literally work together. And if you really sit back and think about it, man, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Jerry's looking like, oh, you got the linebackers, you know, you DC, you got LBs, all right. Ollie's got the D-line, cool. I got the secondary. They don't have to worry about anything because each one of these guys now, we got competency in the room. This is something that we have not had. And now you've got a guy that played for more than 5 years in the league, coaching this linebacker core and leading the defense. And then you got a former first-round pick who was a top player in the NFL during his day at corner. So you got two top guys that played in the league and became damn good coaches. And you're putting them with this staff. There's no way that Atlanta does not become a top 15 or top 10 defense this year. There's no way in hell it should not happen.
I'm all for it.
So with the experience that we have on this team and what we have to put together, division title, playoffs. That's my goal for the year.
That's the minimum.
We're not ready for a championship run, folks. I'm not saying championship, Jay Black. We're not ready for that. We still don't have the depth on the defense yet to even have that. Hell, let alone you don't even have the depth on the offensive line yet for that. You have to have depth before you can compete for the championship. We don't have the type of championship depth and experience we need to have to compete yet.
And build that foundation and build up on it.
And Ryan, let me add to that. Let's just think about it. We haven't been to the playoffs in a while anyway. I mean, we got to still learn how to win in the playoffs all over again and all that stuff respectfully. Because a lot of these guys that's on this team have never been to the playoffs. So a lot of these guys like AJ Terrell, some of these veterans don't know what that's like. So let's just get to the playoffs, like Ryan, like you just said. Let's get to the playoffs and start winning, get that experience, know how that feels, know that pressure, et cetera, before we can start talking about championships. I want to talk about them, but we got to be real too.
Yeah, I agree. The only player right now that has playoff experience is freaking Jake Matthews. Last of the dying breed. So with us, we had to build upon winning consistently and being able to win game in the playoff. Once we get to the playoff, we got to break that streak. We got to break that curse. We haven't been to the playoffs in almost 8 years. So, I agree with you, A1. We got to learn how to win again in the postseason because we don't forget what that feels like. As a player and as a fan, we don't watch everybody else win, but us.
I think we don't forget what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, for real. I mean, we got to keep it a buck. We don't forget how it feels to have a winning season. We haven't had one in 8 years. So again, I agree. We had to learn how to win again. It's strange as it seems, we have to learn how to win.
Yeah, right. But one thing that does help that though is bringing on veterans like the Leonard Floyds, the Jesse Bates, some guys like that, bringing in the right guys with the right makeup and the experience to help. With younger guys or guys who just never been too though.
Right.
I want to go ahead and throw this out here. AJT, I'm not saying nothing bad about that. I hear what you're saying, but here's the difference between us and Washington. Washington already had players in position to win. They had players that were already groomed already up, even though they were bad, they had players on that team. We're still building our depth right now. They're still trying to fix things at this point. So Washington, all they needed was a quarterback at that point to come in and help lead them. And then right now, they think about it. They fixed their secondary. They're still bringing in players. Their defense wasn't that good last year, but it performed well enough to get them to the NFC Championship game. And then you have to think about this. They didn't have outside of Brian Robinson, they didn't have a real running game. We actually have a running game. That's a little bit of a difference. But their coaches have a play caller who was a head coach that understands how to call plays. That is what the difference is. So
they have a head coach that's been to the Super Bowl before too.
Yeah. So they already got people that's on that staff that understand how to pretty much how to make some things happen. I'm not saying that we're not there, but we can't sit here and be delusional. We gotta be honest. We gotta be honest with this here, dog. Y'all can say I'm the wet blanket. Y'all can say I'm this, but damn it, the Falcons is honest. I can't be delusional, dog. I just can't.
Nah, man. I mean, I agree with Ryan, man. We did not. They needed was a quarterback and competency at the head coaching. And once the head coach brought in that play caller, it
Hey,
just
look,
fit. It just fit. It just fit
It ain't.
together.
Wait a minute. It ain't just you, Jay Black. We got one person on the panel that deal like that too. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. We got a couple. I'm gonna be real. A lot of us as fans or whatnot, we want to see this here. But for all of us that's on the panel, and then not just the panel, just folks that really are into content creating, we don't get the luxury to deal in the unrational side of things. We actually have to tell the truth, because if we don't tell the truth, y'all not gonna support our channels.
Can't be in denial.
Y'all might
forever,
not
man.
like what we say. Y'all might argue with us. Y'all might say we a little bit mean. Y'all might say y'all just bad weather. But you know what? With the like they say, where there's sunshine, there's got to be rain.
Sunshine.
Yeah,
And
man.
rain.
Hey, look. We will always have differing opinions. We can't say you never know what's going to happen until it happens. So who knows? It could be another Washington. It could be a lot of things. So one thing we want to do is crawl before we walk. Let's try to get back to the playoffs, like everybody on the panel stated, and then we can go and see where we go from there.
I don't want to just get. Look, if we get to the playoffs, I don't want to just get there. I at least need a dub.
Yeah,
I need a dub. Even if we ain't competing for a championship,
I want to see what they do when they
dub.
get there. They go win 1 or 2 games, so we just got to see
Gotta get
where
that momentum
that lies and see what matchup. Because sometimes you can just get the bad matchup. You know, the first game and you sent home packing because you
Appreciate
got the wrong matchup.
But you know what? You're right. It's all about matchups, because who's to say we don't match up with a team that can't handle our running game or whatnot? Who's to say we don't match up with a team who can't cover these big receivers that we have? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about and who we play. But let's be real.
Yeah,
all roads, I'm going to tell you the truth. All roads lead to Broad Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. All roads lead to Philly. So regardless of how you feel about it, guess what? Everybody got to see that big bad team in Philadelphia that's filled with what? Georgia Bulldogs. You know, I had to throw that out there, you know. We got Alabama fans in here that tried to come here and say Poe Dogs, but them Poe Dogs ended up winning the trophy, because remember that Alabama quarterback didn't get a trophy the first time he went to the Super Bowl till he got them dogs.
And he even talked about how getting the dog changed everything, the culture around the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, ain't that something?
Wait a minute. Say that again.
He said the Alabama quarterback said that the culture and the playoff run wouldn't be if it wasn't for getting those Georgia Bulldogs and getting that Georgia culture in Philadelphia.
Yep.
The man telling you, if it wasn't for the dogs, we wouldn't be champions. That's basically what the man said.
Go ahead
and you know what's funny?
Go ahead.
Guess what? They call it the Philly Dogs for a reason. You don't hear Philly Tides, you hear Philly Dogs in Philly.
Go Dogs.
Right.
And the cheese
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Call them Go Dogs.
And see, right now, I've been having to take a lot of that. I've been taking a lot of crap, but it's okay though. I like I said, I respect it. But guess what? All I can say is at this point, we got to see them between the hedges this year. So that same energy is gonna be there, but it's all good though. They have a right, but you know what? They have a right to be confident because they lead the overall series and they've been beating us like redheaded stepchildren. And
over a decade.
For some reason, everybody, let's be real, we done pissed down our legs many years playing against Alabama when we've had better teams. And it's just something about that damn mystique or that stinking elephant or whatnot that these boys get nervous for. Now, last year, I ain't going to sit there and hold you. That was just a bad play at the end of the game, but we ain't finna get into that.
Yeah, it was.
We ain't gonna get into that. But hey, man, but I'll say this though. But if we do draft another wide receiver, I'm okay with getting Nazir Brooks or Ryan Williams up out of Alabama, bringing them here.
Oh,
Let's
I'll
just
go Ryan Williams.
I'll tell you what.
let's just
in a
make
heartbeat.
sure. Wait a minute. Let's make sure he ain't got no hamstring problems and no gambling problems. That's the only thing we need to make sure.
That's it.
But
But
A1, go ahead and tell the folks where they can find you at, my brother.
hey man, A1 Forever Sports, that is the platform on YouTube. Please come on over, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And check out a few videos that's over there. We got plenty of stuff and doing plenty of things this off season, Falcons related. Hey man, also the Hawks Digest, building that channel up as well. Got some great content over there as well, man. Please come on over and check me out at the Hawks Digest. Recent videos up as well over there. And of course, Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, the real A1 Forever on TikTok for those who are on there. And man, I appreciate Ryan and the Birdcage, K-Dub, Great Beer. Appreciate y'all having me come through. Fellowship with y'all Falcon brothers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, man. Yeah.
Hey man, definitely
Nine,
appreciate you.
14 that time. Yes, sir. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm at that point. You're
Wow.
talking about Zach Harrison. That's the other cat that's from Ohio State. Oh, you mean Jeremiah Smith? My bad. I don't think we're gonna get Jeremiah Smith. We got a better chance of getting the Alabama kid before we get him.
he top
Jeremiah
five.
Smith.
Man.
Jeremiah
top
Smith
five.
just like that, and he just a
he-
freshman.
Yeah, he'll be a top five.
I'm gonna be 100 with you. Hey, Terry Fontenot, if you are still in charge of Atlanta at that time, if we got a chance to get him, you give up everything in the back to get that boy. If you get a chance to. I'm willing. Look, I'm willing to give
He
up.
said, "Go Mike Bishop."
Look, I'm willing to give up more than we gave for Julio for him.
Oh hell no.
Oh yeah. Say
we
what
gave
you,
him a lot.
Great. Say what you want. Say what you want, but he carried that Ohio State team. You can say whatever, and he liked that.
No.
You saying no? He was pretty much, put it this way: the best high school receiver coming out, and Ohio State got him, and you see what he did as a true freshman.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm not about
Better
to give
than
up.
Marvin Harrison Jr., who
I'm
we
not-
all said was going to be different.
I'm not giving up years of draft capital for one man. I
Well,
can't.
well, here's the thing: you did it. They did it for Julio Jones. What's the problem?
No Super Bowl. That's the problem.
Okay, but
No
here's the thing:
defense.
his
That's the
catch
problem.
pretty much set us up for the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah,
What you
I don't-
mean?
I don't blame Julio. I blame the fact
Exactly.
we've been
And,
up on
and think about it.
TJ Watt. I mean, we've been up on a lot of players that could have been drafted today.
All I'm saying is this: you see it worked when we got Julio, and Julio did not even put up the numbers that Jeremiah Smith did.
I get that, but I'm not giving up. If it's unreasonable, cool, but I'm not about to give up years of draft capital. I can't.
Here's my thing: do you want to win now, or do you want to win, or do you want to continue to sit back and say you want to win later?
I want to win consistently.
Okay, and winning consistently is a part of risking and actually giving up some things for a player that has talent like that. This is what we meant when we said certain franchises will take gambles and they have no problem with doing that. We've only taken really only 2 gambles in this, really a gamble or 2 in this franchise's history, my guy.
What about?
And we
Kyle
still
Pitts?
ain't win anything, even when we were playing it safe.
Yeah. What about? No, we gave up a little bit. Nah, I can't.
Outside of Julio, what other player have we given up for? And then we gonna end the show on this.
Michael be number one. Really him?
No, we
And
had to
it
give up
paid
Tim the
and
White.
it paid dividends.
Yeah, but we lost on the back end of the ball. Though. That's what I'm saying.
How did we lose on the back end of the ball when this
We
man
couldn't draft
performed?
nothing. We couldn't draft nothing.
But here's the problem: we had no defense.
That's
If you
my
gonna sit
whole
there and say
argument.
no, if you gonna sit there and say that, because guess what? We ended up getting to a position where we could draft, but hell, we didn't have anybody after Michael Jenkins left outside of Roddy.
I get that, but if we're gonna make a move like that, let's keep it in perspective. That's all I'm saying.
Just like you keep in perspective and you wishing and hoping that Kyle Pitts is gonna be a great tight end. Gotcha.
No,
Now we'll
I
do
want
it
him
like
to be. I want to be a competent tight end.
again, as I said before, the same man who sat back and held up a unicorn sign for a tight end and that still ain't hit. Man, we finna end this thing, y'all. Hey, we definitely appreciate y'all for coming in because we'll be sitting here arguing back and forth, man. Check us out every Thursday at 8 p.m. You know how we get down. You either get right or you get left. Hey, also check out Bumper to Bumper or whatnot. We definitely got you covered in the mornings, and we got some pop-up shows coming, and probably we might have another guest on the way. We're not going to drop the bag on that one yet, but we definitely would like y'all to check out. If you haven't, check out the John Abraham interview that we've had
Good
last
interview.
week. And then also check out, lastly, Mr. Eric Curry, Alabama legend. Since we were talking about Bama or whatnot, he came through and gave us a damn good interview. So we appreciate you guys for tapping in with us tonight. For myself, the historian, K-Dub, great bit. We'll catch y'all later, man. This you either get right or you get left. Ghost.